What's up Nerfers, and welcome back to my channel. On my last video, this blaster here, the Sabre Apex Prime, combined with these brand new darts, Sabre T darts, well, they achieved the tightest spread I've ever seen a Nerf blaster shoot at 30 meters. Now, up until my last video, the tightest spread I'd ever shot before was with worker heavy darts using the same blaster, the Sabre Apex Prime. And the best I ever did was an A4 sheet of paper size. Now, if you watched the last video, ladies and gentlemen, this one shot a spread half that size. So fold your A4 sheet of paper in half, we're doing A5s now. The plan for today then is to step this back even further, probably double that to 60 meters, because I'm genuinely curious as to what this can do with those brand new darts.
The blaster itself is shooting with a muzzle velocity of around 300 feet per second. I could put a heavier spring in to shoot higher, or even install a weaker spring to bring it down lower, but the field limit here is 300 feet per second, and I'm doing this test mostly for myself, but also for the other players. Since airsoft is completely illegal here, we use gel blasters usually for up close, and Nerf like this for long range sniping. Now, there's no real point in repeating the chrono test since I did that just 2 weeks ago, but I will begin with a range test before moving on to the accuracy testing.
Okay guys, for the range test, I'm going to stand down at that fence, shoot back down the road, and when I find the darts, I'll use this laser rangefinder to tell me the range. So in the mag, I've actually got 10 darts instead of the usual 5. What I'm going to do is 5 level shots and then 5 with a 45-degree arc, and that'll tell you like what's the distance you can shoot without having to worry about aiming higher. And then if you do aim higher, how far can you make this thing go? All right, beginning with the 5 level shots. And then the rest at a 45-degree angle. Let's go find them. All right, so the first 4 shots all went around 52 meters. Then we have one dart here, which went a little bit further at 59. Now, I definitely think these flat shots have bounced. In practice, I find I need to aim higher at 30 meters, and these went 52. But let's go find the ones that I aimed at a 45-degree arc. Here we are. We have 1, 2, 3, and then 2 more there. So the first 3, 45-degree arc went 86 meters, and then these 2 here went 91. I don't know that I've seen any Nerf darts go 90 meters before. That's pretty insane.
It's always difficult to measure flat shots because the shallow angle allows them to bounce much like a pebble thrown into a lake. But from my own experience, I'd say that flat shots make it around 35 to 40 meters rather than the 53 measured here. So for targets closer than 35 meters, just aim dead on and you'll hit whatever you're aiming at. As for the maximum range of 88 meters, this is a more reliable measure since the darts are running out of steam at that point and coming straight down, so they're far less likely to bounce further forwards. And of course, you can hit anywhere between 35 and 88 meters by knowing how high to aim the blaster for the given distance. It all comes down to guesswork and practice, something you'll see shortly as I move on now to the accuracy test.
Now for the accuracy test, I think it makes sense to start off with another 30-meter one and then step it back from there, just to confirm that it is shooting the same accuracy as my last video. I believe I was aiming around here, and by the time the darts went the 100 feet, they dropped down to around the bullseye. I got this camera set to a lower resolution so I can do a little bit of slow-mo for you, about 50% speed, because these darts being kind of a bluey purple color, they're a little harder to see on the target. So I want to make sure that they are hitting where I put the dots. As usual, using this sandbag to rest the blaster on between shots. Let's see how it does. Hard to see with my naked eye. That slow motion from the camera should really help though. Looks like they're going pretty close to the center though. Might be slightly high to the left. Now, something I want to mention is, even though I am using this really expensive blaster, the Sabre Apex Prime, and heck, I even have a scope on here that's half the price of the blaster itself, you should be able to get these kind of results with much cheaper blasters. You just need to get the right kind of rifling on the end of your barrel, get your air volumes balanced correctly, and you should be able to get similar kind of accuracy to this with the T-darts. They even work nicely in AEGs as well, even though they are 38mm long instead of 36. I tested them in the inverted scales a couple of videos ago, if you want to go back and watch that one. Now, if I can shoot this tight of a spread while talking to you, imagine if I was actually like trying hard. How many darts we got left? 2 more. One more to go. There's all 15 shots at 30 meters. I wonder how close it was to last week's video where I was taking my time a lot more.
The 30-meter spread today was a little more round and even than the other week, measuring 17 centimeters or around 6.5 inches in diameter. Not much has changed since my last video, so it does seem fairly repeatable. I could have aimed a little more to the right this time, and there might have been a bit of a breeze today, but for the purposes of measuring grouping size, that's not important at all. So now let's step it back to 40 meters.
Okay, so using my laser rangefinder here, I've drawn a line at 40, 50 and then 60. Let's move the barrel back to 40. Okay, so now that I'm back at 40 meters, I'm finding that I have to aim just a little bit above this white sign here. So what is that? The length of a Talon mag times 2. So 2 lengths of a Talon mag, whatever that works out to. I think it's probably about 40 centimeters higher than where I was aiming for the 30-meter shots. Let's see how it does. That was near the center. Similar. They are kind of hard to see at this distance. You guys will get to see that lovely slow-mo from the camera though. What I would love to know is how much the spread increases by, for say, every 10 meters that you move back by. It could be a linear change. They're all hitting. That's pretty impressive. Now, while I am aiming pretty high above the target, you can actually get risers that you put your scope on and it will tilt it down a bit. So if you want to zero this for, say, 40 meters, you definitely can, even if your scope doesn't allow it by default. That's all 15 shots. Let's have a look at the results and then move it back to 50.
At a distance of 40 meters, aside from one dart that dropped lower than the others, this 40-meter spread has pretty much the same width as the 30-meter one, just with double the height. Still very usable, so now let's head back to 50 meters.
So now that I'm back at 50 meters, I have to aim about 3 meters above the target up in the tree. I found like a nice little spot where 2 branches cross over. Just gonna put the sight straight on that so that I'm aiming at the same spot every time. It's not really looking good for 60 meters. If I have to aim any higher, I'm gonna start hitting these branches here. So 50 meters might be the last one. We'll have to see. 50 meters, 15 shots. Let's see how it does. I can hear that hit. Can't see it from this far away though. Another hit. Yeah, that hit wood. That too. No idea if they're good though. Oh, I actually saw that one. It was slightly left of the center. Only because the orange tip bounced back towards me. Ah, and that one was slightly high and to the left. What we're looking for though is how tight the grouping is, not whether it's centered in the middle of the target. Because I had to find a branch that's crossing over so I have somewhere to actually aim every time. These seem to be hitting around the same spot when I actually see them. That's pretty impressive for 50 meters. And that's all 15 shots. Every single one of them actually hit the target because I could hear it.
At a distance of 50 meters, the darts have definitely spread out more, shooting a spread measuring 40 centimeters across and 70 centimeters high. Or in other words, it's about double the 40 meter spread in both directions. This is still very usable and would hit the top half of a human every shot. So now, let's step it back to 60, eh?
So now that I'm back at 60, these 2 trees are presenting a bit of a problem. I'm going to be aiming as high as I possibly can to be just below that branch there. Occasionally, if a dart decides to go a little bit faster than the others, it might hit that branch. But hopefully, we get some of the shots hitting the target and I can just shoot some more darts if some of them hit the branch. Let's see how it does at 60 meters, aiming just below that first branch. That was a hit. I think that might have just missed the target or gone short of it. That was a hit on the target. Just short, saw that bounce. That was a hit. 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 Wow. Quite impressed that we're actually able to do this at all from 60 with those overhanging branches. That was actually pretty high up on the target, that one. Even though we had one drop short, we will still be able to see how big that spread is at 60 meters. Which I haven't been able to do with any other type of dart in the past. They just don't go far enough to be able to clear that branch and still hit the target, whereas these do. That's all 15.
At the 60-meter limit of the test range here due to those overhanging trees, despite a couple of shots falling short, Sabre T-Dart shot a spread including those shortfalls measuring 1.2 meters high, but only 50 centimeters wide. That's a very usable spread for hitting a human-sized target, assuming you can figure out just how high up you need to aim the blaster for that range. But overall, these were all very impressive results for a 300 FPS Nerf blaster, and given the right darts and of course the right rifling, you should be able to achieve the same yourself. To recap what we've seen here, at 30 meters, Sabre T-Dart shot a 17 centimeter spread, which could easily hit someone's head poking out from cover, guaranteed every time. At 40 meters, disregarding the one low shot, could have been a bad dart or something, a 17 centimeter wide by a 30 centimeter tall spread is A4 paper sized. That's what I used to get at 30 meters with worker darts, and now we're getting it at 40 with Sabre T-Darts. At 50 meters, a 40 centimeter wide by 70 centimeter tall spread is also very usable. It'll hit an enemy player anywhere from their shoulders down to their waist. And finally, at 60 meters, the limit of our test range here, a 1.2 meter high and 50 centimeter wide spread is pretty much a guaranteed hit on anyone that you've managed to catch out of cover. While the range test can tell you that a 300 FPS Nerf blaster reaches out to 91 meters, only an accuracy test like I've done here can tell you it's still effective at 60. And with that, I hope you found this video as interesting to watch as it was for me to make. I'll put links down below to everything I use, blaster, darts, rifling, and so on. In fact, Sabre T-Dart should be available by the time this video releases. That's all I have for you today. Like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Here's 2 other videos you might enjoy, and as always, thank you very much for watching. See ya!